ShireSociety.com. Stop! Don't go in. The federal fort, also known as the Norris Cotton Building in Manchester, New Hampshire. So I guess I'm basically just using this place as a backdrop to rant about my concerns regarding the handling of the Malheur, I hope I'm saying that right, the Malheur Wildlife Refuge Crisis, or the Bundy Rebellion, or whatever you want to call it.
Your tax dollars at work right here.
But as you know, one of the residents of New Hampshire, his name is Jerry DeLemus, he was arrested for participating in some form or fashion, probably without hurting anyone, in the Malheur issue, the Bundy Rebellion, both of them basically. So I'm here trying to do what I wish more New Hampshire folks were doing, and that is to stand in front of the nearest federal building with a sign. So my theory is that the biggest difference is the difference between 0 and 1. So if you've got 0 protests in front of this building, that has a dramatically different effect from 1. Now, of course, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to be a 1. But this is what I can do today. Unfortunately, a Saturday. Now, it's been a source of some sadness for me that after Jerry DeLemus, a New Hampshire resident, was arrested by the feds with a SWAT team and all that, this brilliant infrastructure surrounding the Bundy Rebellion was never put to use to make a good demonstration. Now, they did put a lot of people in the courtroom quickly, twice, and they may be able to do that again. But I like protests. I like to see them. I like to hear about them. It doesn't do that much, but it's the difference between 0 and 1. So what I would recommend people do, if you've got problems with a Bundy-related arrest, you think someone shouldn't have been arrested, and I think none of them should have been arrested, because I can care less what those people do, as long as they're not hurting anybody. And I don't want any tax money spent on anything. So I think protest that. You just go by yourself to the nearest federal building, and you stand there for a few minutes with a flag. You get a few pictures of yourself. You put it on YouTube, and every federal building in the country ideally should have a little protest like this. It would be more powerful than having 200 people in one place. And that will happen, I think, later this week or later this month. There's going to be a big rally connected, it's a land rights rally directed against the federal government. That's going to be at the State House on March 23rd. And that's good. But I just think there's no substitute for stuff you can do by yourself without a lot of consulting with others. There's also a historical note I wanted to bring up that I've been thinking about a lot with relation to the Bundy crisis, and that is the, I don't know if you're familiar with the Easter Rising in Ireland. There was a situation that developed there that was actually very similar to the Malheur crisis. And what happened was a bunch of Republicans in Southern Ireland or in Central Ireland, I don't know, I think it's in Dublin, rose up and seized a government building, right? And now then they tried to defend it by force, and there was an actual shootout. British brought in artillery. I think they may have held it for days, but not for weeks. This happened in, I think, spring of 1916. And so it was in the middle of World War I. A lot of Irish were very sympathetic to the British cause in World War I, so they didn't like the idea of these rebels doing this stuff at this time. But the British government overreacted, and what happened was they started executing people who'd been involved in this. And that changed things and actually resulted in the Irish War of Independence, which was successful. Fighting violently tends to not really bring much freedom. But it does tell us, the federal government, that they need to be cautious about how much they overreact with this crisis, if you want to call it a crisis. And it seems like the number of arrests is not really proportionate to the size of the event. Unless the government's just scared of people, I think they are. Anyway, a couple other thoughts that were coming. Well, yeah, I would like to urge the supporters of Jerry DeLemus, if you want to don't let the federal government determine when you're going to meet, right? If you're only going to court events and then just letting them just set the agenda in terms of timing, it's better really to set a date and time for a demonstration. Usually a couple hours before a court hearing is a good time, because then if they change the court hearing, then you've still got the great demonstration everyone came to. But if they keep the court hearing at its original time, as the feds have been good about doing in New Hampshire with the DeLemus case, then you at least had everybody come to a real event instead of having them come to a courtroom date and time that didn't happen.
The old world is collapsing, and it's going to take its slave driver governments with it. But what will rise up in their place? In New Hampshire, the Shire Society has a plan, a thriving web forum, and a history of action.
It didn't take long to come up with a plan.
You can sign up right now at ShireSociety.com.